Our greetings, everyone. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you so much for joining us. As we always do before we get started, make sure you guys hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. Please share the content as well. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Please, that's lunch. Please share the content and please subscribe. Again, please subscribe, like, share, subscribe in any, doesn't have to be that specific order, but just make sure you do perform those three action items. Also, go to dynastymirror.com. Again, please go to dynastymirror.com. While you're there, make sure you buy your merchandise, join the email list, all of that good stuff. Also, tour Sierra Leone, April 20th. We're leaving on the 20th out of Washington, D.C. Again, we're leaving out of the 20th. We're leaving on the 20th out of Washington, D.C., headed to Sierra Leone. And we're returning on the 29th. If you're interested in joining us, please go to dynastymirror.com and send me a message. Again, please go to dynastymirror.com and send me a message. Without further ado, we have Brother Sub-Zero on with us. And we're going to be discussing, me and Sub-Zero were talking offline yesterday in regards to Sub-Sahara. I think that's on your end. But before we continue, guys, if there's a buffer, there's a lag, please press 1 in the chat room. But Sub-Sahara, I think that might be on your end. But what we're going to be discussing today is, this channel, we've kind of shifted to tech a little bit, especially tech and the role it's going to play in the future of Africa. But today's topic is, there are certain forces, I guess, in place intentionally that will cause Black people to be left out when it comes to tech here in America. So, me and Brother Sub-Zero are going to speak on that today. Sub-Zero also has an awesome course in which he helps place brothers and sisters in tech jobs, helps place them in tech opportunities. So, and that link is in the chat room. Will also be in the description when the show is over. Again, that link is in the chat room and will be in the description once the show is over. So, if you want to sign up for the course, and Brother Sub-Zero will speak on the course as well, go ahead and click on the link and sign up using my affiliate link. With that being said, we got Brother Sub-Zero on. Brother Sub-Zero, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Sub-Zero3639. I have a YouTube channel by the same moniker, Sub-Zero3639. Been doing videos for about 3 years. One day I made a video saying, hey, if you want to rock with me, come and click the link. You can send me an email. You can sign up. So that's what I did. I basically started training people about roughly 3 years ago. The guy you see on here with me is Mark. Mark is one of my students. And as soon as Mark, I think I had a couple other people I invited. But anyway, I've trained people. People get out there, they make about from $35 to $50, $55 an hour. I train nightly, Monday through Thursday. I help you with resume. I help you with experience in how to get around that roadblock, which is what's really gonna be the telltale sign of this. Telltale discussion, really, pretty much when we talk about this, how Black people will be left out in the 21st century. I think you have to talk about how we don't have experience and how that really stops and hinders Black people in getting of experience. If you don't have experience, how do you get it, right? So they pretty much. Oh, man, what's up? That's okay. That's one of them, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of background noise on his end, so I just
okay. Yeah, but anyway, so that brother that you just saw, he was one of them too. He's had a couple of jobs. He's been doing pretty good. So before I guess if you don't mind beforehand, do you mind if I go ahead and let them? Because I know Anthony's on his lunch break. He only had a few minutes, and then I'll come back. Go ahead, Anthony. Right, tell them about your experience.
Yeah, we can't hear the brother. Yeah, it's just static. Can't hear you at all. It's static. Go ahead. Yeah, it's not. Let me move out. All right. The other brother, M.A., I guess, could talk.
Mark, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead.
So it's funny because I first heard about Sub's class on your channel, Uhuru. It was the first time. I think it was one of his first classes. It was the second class. I was down and out. Didn't really have direction in my life at the time. And funny enough, the day I listened to you and Sub, I hit him up, and you just got to talking, and we set up a plan. Okay, just come to class, follow these steps, and you'll succeed. And that's what I did. I followed his steps, followed his plan. I basically came into a community and grew with that community. And what can I say? Right now, I'm on my second job in the industry, and it's giving me a lot of leeway to travel, to do really anything that I want. To get started on my own business, just do things. So I definitely recommend you guys at least talk to Sub, at least consider it, because it's paid off. And I mean, to be honest, with the virus out and whatnot, where would I have been if I had not been in a kind of in this kind of industry that allowed me to be at home and basically work from home, still make the same pay, can go make a lateral make a lateral move to a different company and get more pay. So I recommend it.
And let me say this to the brother that's on Keith Jordan, man, YouTube has been on me for a while. If you have certain views, political views, they come at you, and they've been on me. They unsubscribe people. I've lost. It took me almost a year and a half just to get over 10,000 subscribers, and I was at 9,900, and it dropped all the way down. It just kept fluctuating. So YouTube is just on me, man. It's nothing I can control. I don't delete people's comments unless you just outright disrespectful. If you disagree, I don't have no problem with it. But for some reason, YouTube does that. So, Go ahead, Don.
Yeah, brother. Guys, hit that like button as you come to the chat room. You want to jump into the top, brother? You said Mark, right?
Yeah. I'm here.
Okay, let's try to see if we get brother Anthony in here. Yeah, still.
Anthony, unplug your headphones. Unplug your headphones.
Plug your headphones, Anthony.
There we go. That's better.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay.
Those them dollar store headphones you got in. You got to throw them dollar store.
Yeah. So my story, real quick.
You can afford them. You can afford headphones.
Yeah. I definitely can afford them now, man. That's a fact. Yeah. So my story, real quick. Came across Sub's Academy from one of the discussions. I think it was like a Sunday business, Blacks in Business Tech video that you and O'Shea had were on together that I came across. And literally the next day, reached out to Sub. He hit me back that same day, explained to me what the Academy is all about, the successes he's had. I shared my story where I'm at. I'd had a handyman business, basically, sole proprietor, breaking my back for a couple years, working for 20, 25 bucks an hour. Signed up for his academy, and I've been working for just over a year now, because it's middle of February. So I got my first gig like right before COVID happened, early January of 2020. That got shut down because of COVID, and I immediately, literally a week later from that Friday, they told me they were shutting down, and I reached out to my recruiter. I had an interview the following Monday for 3 jobs, landed a job that Friday, and I've been on that job now I just got another contract extension. I've been on that job for almost a year now.
And Anthony, you jumped straight out to $100,000. You were making $50 from the work.
Yeah, my first gig out of the chute, I was making $52 an hour as a SQL developer.
Wow. And these are all jobs now that you're working remotely. So that's another question I have. Well, because of COVID, you know, the work, I would say, environment or whatever you want to call it, corporate America has changed now. So are the majority of these jobs going to be remote Sub-Zero?
At this juncture, most jobs in tech are going to be probably home, which I love because I hate getting in traffic. I go to the gym. The only time I leave now is just to go to the gym, grab lunch, come home. That's all I do. And from there, it allows flexibility. And most jobs right now, even when before we had a flex schedule, which the way it works, you could either get in at like 10 o'clock and leave at 6. Or you can get in at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and leave at 3. Some people would go in for just 4 hours a day, 6 hours, but you just have to come into the office on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's it. The rest of the week, you're home. So I already was getting accustomed to working from home anyway. Most jobs now, because of COVID and because, you know, office buildings, you talk about $70, $80, $100,000 a month for some of these companies. So what happens is they wind up sending people to their homes, and you know, right now it's just more financially beneficial if your productivity is maintaining for you to stay, you know, working at home. So this is probably going to be the way of the future. Most tech jobs are going to be home-based jobs probably soon, and that's where we're getting left out. We're getting left out, and I always talk about it. I talk to my students every day. When I have class. Tonight, we're in between classes. We have a class starting from scratch on Wednesday of next week. But tonight, I do a review with all the old former students that get ready to do interviews. And I always tell them, look, guys, you guys are going to have experience because you came to my class. And in the way we word things on your resume, that's why Anthony jumped straight out. First job, $52. Next job, over 100,000. He's been over 100,000 this whole time because of what I put on his resume. Now he doesn't need me. Anything he wants, anything he can jump out to $70, $80 now because he's been doing it. So he could be making 140, 150,000, you know, because he has the experience and he can speak to it. He knows how to speak. That's what we talk about every day. We talk about how to answer questions, how to function in an interview. What do you say? How do you conduct yourself when you get this type of email? I do everything. I do it all. And I used to just charge $400, but now I've kind of changed because there's a lot of work that goes into this now. So now it's not $400, but it's still affordable. It's $297 a month. I'll go ahead and tell you that now. It's $297 a month. It's only 3 months. After the 3 months, you know, the class, you've pretty much been taught most everything that I know, most of it. You can do an extra month if you want to stay, if you want to learn something else. But that's about it, man. I pride myself in investing in people and making sure. If you click the link that Donna Samir is putting up, you can schedule.
So somebody in the chat room says the link doesn't work. Let me see real quick.
Hold on.
Well, the link works. The link works.
Yeah, it's working for me.
Yeah, the link works. The link works. Let me somebody else hit the link. The link is working on my end. So let me just check real quick. Yeah, the link works. So but we'll go ahead. Go ahead, Sub-Zero.
Yeah, so what I do, man, is I invest my time in you guys. You guys, if you have a problem with the link, you use the other link too, just to be on the safe side.
Okay. Well, hold on. Let me do this real quick. Let's see a copy. All right, guys. Try the link. Let me place it back in the chat again. Let's see if it works. All right. Try the link now. Okay, guys. Try the link. It doesn't work. Okay, guys. Try the link now. Try the link now. Let me know if it works. All right, go ahead, Sub-Zero.
Okay. And let me say this, guys. This thing has always been about economic empowerment for Black people. Tech, the reason you see so many people. Okay, so they're saying it's working. Okay, good.
Yeah, it's working now. I guess I needed to add the HTTPS situation, but
okay, all right.
So, guys, link is in the chat room. Click on that link, enroll using that link in the chat room. Will also be in the description as well. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So the thing is this, man. Mark, which was the brother that's on the panel with us, he's the first student I had to get a job. When I first started this, I didn't know if what I was doing was really going to be able to get people in there. And once he got in there, the floodgates opened, and God has really blessed it. So a lot of people are starting to get positions and stuff like that. I just had a brother about 2-3 weeks ago. He landed. Well, actually, he started in January. He landed $50 an hour. I got a lot of students making over $100,000 a year. So this is the great equalizer. And I think that we're going to get left behind. And the reason I wanted to kind of talk to you about this was, for one, man, when you go to these colleges and universities, the first thing they want you to do is you got to have the ACT. You got to have all these different things that a lot of us as African Americans, the average African American scoring about 16, 17 on ACT. That's average. We're not going to qualify for these scholarships. And if we go to college, we struggle a lot of times because we come from a lot of underserved, underprivileged areas where we just don't have the background to compete in math. So what happens is we have a higher concentration of degrees that are meaningless. I hate to say it, sociology, psychology, degrees that you really can't go into the job market and obtain a high salary position. So what happens when you do that is it pushes you behind the 8 ball because you got student loans. And so this is why Black wealth shrinks, because we've been taught, go to college, get a degree, and you'll get a high paying job. It doesn't work like that, right? So what I've been doing is over the past 1.5 or 2-3 years, when people call me, I talk to different people from all different walks of life every day. They tell me about their educational background. They tell me about what they've done. And I've kind of gotten, I guess, a small survey of the lay of the land for Black people. Black people, we're behind academically, and the gatekeeper for tech is math. Well, if we're not the best students, we're not. That's why you go and you see in Silicon Valley, most of those companies are ran by Asians, Indians. They're founded. Sergey Brin founded Google. Mark Zuckerberg. Black African Americans, especially descendants of slaves, are not in this space. If you do see somebody Black, they tend to be African or Caribbean immigrant because they have a different culture per se. But us as African American descendants of slaves, we are not in these spaces. And what happens is now we have a vice president who is what they call a Brahma Indian. I'm from IT. I work with these. What happens with Indians is when they get in a position, they look out for each other. So they're gonna go ahead.
You're supposed to. I mean, you're supposed to.
Exactly. So that's basically what's going on. And she's gonna look out. So over the next 4 years, they're promising unlimited visas for basically Indian immigrants to come over here. They're gonna basically give them unlimited citizenship to be able to come and basically dominate our tech space. They already do dominate our tech space. Over half the jobs in Silicon Valley are from people that were born in Asia. So what we need to do now in order to mount an offensive for us as African Americans, we don't have time to go to some damn college or university and get some damn bachelor's degree in computer engineering while running up $200,000-$300,000 worth of debt. You need people like me. I hate to say it. You need people who will do that Harriet Tubman thing and get you in the back door. Certifications are good. They will get you in the door. But guess what? I've talked to a bunch of people with certifications that can't land jobs, can't land positions. I've talked to a bunch of people, and I know some brothers swear by cyber security. I know some people gonna disagree with this. I know a bunch of my students have those cyber security certifications and can't get jobs. When you have a certification, what you've done is proven that you can retain knowledge. It doesn't necessarily mean that someone is going to trust you with their $1 billion system. And so in order for you to really get that trust, you have to have experience. That is the real, gatekeeper. And so we as Black people, we don't have that. We don't have cousins that work in Silicon Valley. We don't have friends that work for Delta and went to Georgia Tech, went to MIT, went to Vanderbilt, went to Stanford. We're not in these spaces. So when these decisions are made, we're not in there. When they decided in the 90s that they were going to, when Sergey Brin and his partner were developing what would become Google, they were in the computer engineering department of Stanford University. Just to even be there, and there was the master's in computer engineering. Just to even be there, you probably had to make a 29 on ACT, just to even be in that room. We're not there. And I'm not saying we can't compete, because obviously you see my students are on here competing. So but they just leapfrogged everybody. Anthony said he was in construction, working with his hands. Now this brother is making six figures because he leapfrogged all these Black folks that say you got to have a degree, you got to have this, you got that. You don't need that. You need somebody that's going to vouch for you, that has experience like myself, and you need a resume that has the right things on it. A lot of us don't know what to put on our resumes. So what happens is I've ran into a lot of people I ran into a couple of brothers that had an associate's or bachelor's. All they needed was just a tweaking of how to interview. Nobody teaches that. You know what I'm saying? You can go get a certification. You got a bunch of schools out here for thousands of dollars. I'm charging a few $100s. For thousands of dollars, people will go and train you and give you all the stuff you need in 7 days and cram you in. You pass some certification test. You don't have a resume. You don't have references, and you're going to struggle. While you spent $10,000 learning, I can give you all that. And not trying to just sell myself, but in general, that's what African Americans do.
You're supposed to sell yourself, Sub-Zero. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me call you.
But guys, hit that like button again. Please hit the like button. Also, too, in the chat room is my affiliate link. Please click on the affiliate link if you're interested in learning more about Sub-Zero's course and joining Sub-Zero's course. So again, click on that affiliate link if you want to learn more information in regards to joining Sub-Zero's course. Go ahead, Mark.
If you don't mind, real quick, before I got into this, I was actually jobless. So y'all got to put that into perspective. I was jobless. Like I said, I didn't really have a direction. And once I got into it, I also went to university as well. So I had student loans debt. Once I got into it and got myself really settled into the industry, I was able to pay off most of my school debt in less than a year. So it affords you different opportunities. And plus, you have a community in the actual class. You have people there who are doing the same work you are. And you have people there who are already working, who are willing to help you all get to where you got to get to. So, you the kind of price that sub is given. I mean, I've seen classes for like $1,200. I've seen classes for $660 or $6,000. I've seen what it takes to get this kind of knowledge. And I think sub is giving you a very good deal. I can definitely vouch for it. I only worked like a week or two to get the money that I needed for the class. Went in the class, did what I had to do, and that's it.
One of the students, somebody's asking, how did you pay off your debt, Mark?
I kind of went Dave Ramsey on that one. I just focused on paying, since my student loan is split up, I focused on paying the lowest student loan debt that I had and kept on going up and up and up and up. And, now I only have, 2 loans left out of the 7 or 8 that I had. So, yeah.
Mark, how do you feel about, I guess the possibility of this new administration canceling student loan debt?
How do I feel about canceling my student loan debt?
No, with the new administration, I guess there's rumors saying that they're going to cancel. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't think it's gonna happen. It's too much. It's just too many things that are happening with trillions of dollars being printed out. There's no way you can sacrifice that kind of debt. I don't think it's going to happen. I have no hope for it. So if you want to get rid of your student loan debt, do it by yourself. I would say stop relying on the government to try to do things for you, because they usually end up messing you up. So yeah, just get a skill, because I got a skill, and now I'm able to ask for 200,000. I know maybe I'm doing a little too much, but I'm able to ask for that, and not feel any type of way, So just get you a skill, and I think this is a very beneficial skill, especially for right now. You will definitely make headways.
That's it.
You know what I love, Sub-Zero, the value that we bring to people. So Brother Anthony said that, and people really don't touch on this. Like Brother Anthony said that he found out about you through O'Shea's channel. Mark found out about you through a conversation or show that me and you did. It's crazy, the impact that we're making. It's crazy. I was just thinking about that. Guys, in the chat room, once again, is the affiliate link. Click on that link to learn more about Sub-Zero's course. Again, click on that link to learn more about Sub-Zero's course. All right, go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, I was going to say, that 6 degrees of separation thing. I've always believed in that, and we're all, even though we don't realize it, to some level, we're all connected to each other. And like you just said, what brought me to come across O'Shea's, YouTube channel, which I had never done before, and just stumbled across it that Sunday afternoon, and you guys were having that discussion. I mean, it could have been as easy as, me not deciding to listen to that video. I wouldn't be sitting here today having this conversation with you guys. So it's God's work. We're just in tune to, focus on what we need to do to, like Sub said, help each other get along and come up. And, I've done it. Mark's done it. So many more people in our class have done it. In my study group, we had 10 people, and we rocked 7 days a week in the evening after class, and, committed and studied together. And of the 10 in our study group, I think it's 6 or 7 of us has been consistently working since we all, finished up the academy. So it's the community's there. A lot of us still reach back and help Sub. My study group, we still talk at least once a week, help each other out with work assignments, or just get together and catch up, because we built this family that it's a bond that we'll always have, thanks to Sub and folks like you.
That's it, man. I think that's powerful what you guys do. And I always tell every class, guys, use the network around you. There are new students coming in that are right around the corner from students that are working. Like somebody called me from Raleigh, Durham the other day. And I was like, I got a bunch of people in Raleigh, in the North Carolina area. I got a lot of people in California, some people out by San Francisco. I was like, well, I got a few students out there, some Texas people, Philly, of course, Atlanta. I got a bunch of Atlanta people, obviously, because that's where I live too. So, but we have, I've met up with a couple of students. Mark, I met in person. A few other, we me and him met. So, but we've been working on this, and I'm really trying to take this to the masses, start really marketing to as many students as I can. And like I said, we're getting left behind primarily because we just have a lack of tech skills in our education system. And a lot of times when you go to a college or university, they're antiquated. So what they tend to want you to do is, okay, you want to get this degree in computer engineering, you have to go to Calculus 2. Well, African Americans, we just don't flourish mathematically. Not that we can't. We built the pyramids. But that being said, today in America, we don't flourish. So what happens is we wind up getting into certain degrees, and we get stuck and typecast into certain things.
Guys, hit that like button again, and once again, let's see, SQL is pretty big. What's your thoughts on that, Sub-Zero?
That's what I teach. The first month of class, you're gonna learn SQL. I teach it and drill it home. I spend most of the time drilling SQL. Guys, if you want, when you click the link, book a consultation, and I'll call you, and we can talk offline. You don't have to, So just the link right there. When you click the link, you can go and book a consultation free of charge, and we can talk on the phone. I'll call you. You put your phone number, email. I'll give you a call. But that being said, SQL is the foundation of pretty much everything that I teach. I teach business intelligence and SQL primarily. But in order to really function as a developer, you have to know SQL. And I always tell my students, once I teach you for about 3 weeks, what I'll do is I'll go find an old interview that one of my students recorded, because a lot of my students record their interviews. We'll find the interview and we'll listen to it. And I'll tell them, like, okay, guys, you've been here 3 weeks already. If you listen to this interview for this $50 an hour job, you know what they're talking about already. And that usually turns that light bulb on in their minds, like, he's actually right. I actually understood what they were saying. I just don't understand the answer, but I am cognizant of the constructs of the language, and I know what they're talking about when they say, what's a join? Well, that's when you join tables. What's an index? By then, they've already been introduced to that and acclimated to understanding SQL. So all they have to do then is just practice and know what they're talking about. And so that usually that really kicks it into high gear. After about 5 weeks of SQL, we jump into integration. That's extract, transform, and load. That's ETL. That's what takes you from $40 an hour to sometimes $60, $65 an hour. If you know how to do ETL, people pay handsomely for it. And that's the one that I teach. Usually that's the one that students get shook on, but I'm always working on this. I've actually developed note cards. I do reviews. I literally get text messages all day about different questions, about reports, different things like that. So I'm always making myself available, because if you ever want to grow any type of business or anything, you need to first find a need and fill it. And I see a need in our community that we're being ignored. Nobody's really coming and bringing those skills to Black people on a massive level. So what's going on is we're getting left. Now you got a few people here and there, Code Black, things like that are really doing some things, but it's not enough of us that are really in this industry. Most of the time, when I started this, I had a friend of mine that's in tech, that's African American, and he told me that Black people, if they really, he didn't think it would work. He said that Black people, a lot of times, he didn't say intelligence. He said, we just don't have the disposition for tech. He actually told me that. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, what do you mean disposition? He's like, well, man, if somebody's going to get into IT, they have to already be like that. They need to have that analytical mindset. And if they had that analytical mindset, they would probably already be in engineering or something like that. So this is not going to work. This is the mentality of a lot of people that are in these environments. They feel like I'm the blessed among us. I'm one of the gods. I'm so super intelligent that I'm an old blue collar country boy from Alabama. So
country boy.
That's right. I'm country. So for me, it's like, man, damn that. Come in through the back door. Holler at me. We're going to figure it out. We're going to put our heads together. And guess what? If you go in the interview, you suck, you don't get the interview, record it. Next interview, you're going to do better. Next interview, when they ask you that same question, and there's no way in hell you can keep going on interviews and applying yourself, and you won't eventually figure it out.
Let's see here. Do you teach C flat or C plus? And then are you offering Azure as well?
I'm actually learning Azure myself. I actually work with Azure database. I'm not really a database administrator. I'm a developer. We develop applications. So there is some training that I myself need to acquire. But what I'm going to do is hire people. So what we're really going to do is jump into Salesforce. I'm going to teach C#, Python, different things that I don't particularly offer. Right now, what you're getting is me. You're getting my skill set and what I know. But eventually, hopefully by the summer, I'll be offering new classes every month, and it'll be different disciplines. Salesforce will be one of them. C#, SQL, Azure, things like that. So I'm going to bring a variety of disciplines, but at this juncture, primarily what I'm offering is just SQL and business intelligence.
All right, let's see what else we got here. Guys, you open to take some questions, some emails, some call-ins?
Definitely.
All right, guys, if you want to call in, email me Uhuru at searchforUhuru.com, Uhuru@searchforUhuru.com. Again, if you'd like to call in, send me an email, Uhuru@searchforUhuru.com, and I will send you the link, and you can call in and ask your question. Also, too, in the chat room is the link to learn more about Sub-Zero's course. Click on that link, schedule a consultation, and the brother will get you up and running. Sub-Zero, is the model of going to college, getting a degree, is that now archaic?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I wouldn't say archaic. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I were a kid graduating high school right now, the first thing I would do is probably go to a community college. I would find a community college that allows you to go obtain that discipline that I'm talking about. Like, for example, Georgia Perimeter is a school that I would probably go to if I were an 18-year-old kid. And I would go there. I know for a fact database development and database administration are things that pay handsomely, because I already had a family member that got hired by Oracle, my brother. And my brother was making $200,000 back in the 90s and still is. And so it's like, okay, so I always knew, but if you don't have that exposure, you wind up being a damn nurse or something. So we really don't know. And so I don't think a college degree is 100% antiquated, but I do think you got to use college intelligently. If you know that you want to use college, first of all, I wouldn't go to a 4-year school, 4 years and pay for it. I would go to a community college first, get my associates because it's almost free to get, right? Graduate with no debt, then get a transient scholarship, come in and finish those last 2 years. Those credits will transfer. You have a plan. And I'm not saying a bachelor's degree does help, but as you can see, Mark, what was your degree in again?
Environmental sciences.
Exactly. So Mark is environmental science. Anthony, do you have a degree?
Man, hold on. Environmental sciences, that's a jock degree. You play sports? That's a football major, environmental sciences.
I know.
That in sports rec studies. Are you sure you didn't play sports?
Hey, look, it was STEM, man. It was STEM, so I had to work a little bit.
Sciences, boy, that was the skate degree at the University of Georgia. All right, go ahead.
So I've got a degree in electrical engineering.
Okay, I didn't know that. So I didn't even know that, but that's what I'm saying. So he had a degree in electrical engineering and he was doing construction. It's just experience makes the difference. And obviously Anthony's smart and intelligent. You don't have to, and I know this is going to sound counterintuitive. You don't have to be smart. You have to be, diligent. You have to have some tenacity. I don't consider myself smart. I consider myself tenacious. I don't quit. It's not, tech is about, it goes to people that don't quit. Even when they talk about Asian cultures, why they flourish in math and science is because they grow rice. There's a book by a guy by the name of Malcolm Gladwell called The Outliers. And it talked about the correlation of African and Asian countries that grow rice and how they have this tenacious, never quit attitude, which flourishes in STEM sciences. So the first thing I want you guys to do is just think of it this way. If you don't quit, I don't care how smart someone is. Yeah, they picked it up in 10 minutes. It might take you 30 minutes. But if you keep going, you can pass them. That's me. That's my story. I was not a good student. Like I said, I don't consider myself smart. In fact, some of my students probably run circles around my ass with developers. But I do know how to convey and download my skills into others. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I offer. So.
Hey, real quick, I just wanted to say, learning SQL, I don't think people really understand the value of this. Learning SQL, you can tap into many different databases. I know a guy is working on what they call a Terra database. we have another working on an Oracle database. I downloaded an Oracle database, but what we start on is called SQL Server. This is a Microsoft branded database, and it has its own SQL language, and others have their own SQL language. But I'm able to migrate to any other and do whatever it is that I do on one database on the next. So you have versatility. You have a lot of potential to go around the industry. And remember, tech is pretty much databases, and databases. They all parts of our economy and our market need databases, and they needed to properly manage that database and create new things out of that database. So you're going to be learning a lot that you can utilize in the industry.
Let me say this. Somebody asked a question about, do you need a business degree? That's my degree. I have a business administration degree. That is perfect, actually. That's the shortcut. If I was in tech, if I wanted to get into tech, I would get a business administration degree, because you can go into tech with a BA degree. Whereas if you got some other degree, you can't. I mean, and not that you can't, but it's going to be more of a, they're going to look at it. If you're 22 years old trying to get a job, and I was that guy that had the degree but couldn't get a job because I didn't have any experience, couldn't get the internships. Internships are hard to get. Like right now, if you go on the Oracle website, fill out their internship program. If you don't have, you put that your GPA is under 3.5, they're not even going to respond to you. I had a friend, I was in college, and he was African. He had a 4.0. He never made a B. I put his application in for him, typed out everything, what to say. We were just talking, man. About a week later, they offered him the internship. Oracle is a hard internship to get. Okay, that's like Google. You know, my niece got a Google internship. My niece made a 30 on ACT though, so she's not dumb. So these internships that everybody's trying to get, I always tell my students the junior developer positions are actually more difficult to get than a senior position. So, you know what I'm saying? It's funny you talk about that C++. I actually took C++ when I was in college. It has I would say C++ is antiquated, but you can take C++ as a viable skill and use it. And I'm going to say one more thing about an antiquated skill. In tech, this is the beautiful thing about a skill, even if it's old, right? You make more money. Like if for example, if everybody now knows C#, right? And everybody knows .NET, but they need somebody that understands C, not C++. I'm talking about C, which predates C++. The guy that understands and is very fluent with C is going to have $150 an hour rate. Whereas the guy that knows C#, even though it's a more recent technology, every college is teaching it. So specialization actually gets you paid in tech. So if you are very good at one particular thing, people pay a premium for that. There are people there's this one kid that graduated high school. My friend was a recruiter at the time. He told me, man, there's this kid we've been trying to get for a project. He's like 18 years old. He stays out in Alpharetta, and he charges $200 an hour. He turns his phone off. He was a iPhone developer, but he's pretty good at it. And so what happens is he had developed some apps that had went viral. And so a lot of people were trying to reach out to him, and he would turn his phone off and just check the messages and screen his calls. 18 years old. That's $8,000 a week. You know what I'm saying? Contractors and getting in the game of development with anything where we are behind indeed. No, well, let me explain something to you about tech. Databases, I'm interested in. Let me say something about C++. C++ is an older language. I wasn't trying to say that you can't make money with C++. You can make money with Fortran. You can make money with COBOL. You can make money with C. So having that skill, I can go right now and type the word COBOL on dice.com. Somebody probably paying $150,000 for somebody that knows that. I wasn't saying that you shouldn't get that skill. What I'm saying is when it comes to databases and development, I'm teaching these students how to get in. Once you get in, you go do whatever you want to do. I'm just trying to get your foot in the door and get you a job. That's what I tell my students. I'm just trying to get you a job. Once you get a job, if you find a company that charges $10,000, you can afford it now. You can go pay the $10,000. You already got experience because I helped you get a job, and you can go do it. I got one student that make $130,000 a year. She's a Salesforce developer, but she came through my class. She learned SQL, she learned ETL, and she learned reporting from me. And she says that took her to the next level. You're in the driver's seat. So I don't have no problem. I'm not trying to even debate people about C# or C++, anything like that. C# is the newer one. C++ is older. That's all I'm saying. I took C++ in 97, 98 when I was at Tuskegee University. So it is what it is. So, and the guy said job just over broke. My thing is this. If you're making $45,000, $35,000 a year, then you can't really get the tax returns. You can't really get the Schedule C and things like that to get yourself structured in business where you need to be to acquire the loans that you want to get to do real estate, to do any type of business loan. I do business. I've actually taken out business loans because I earn the type of money I earn, and I can show it in a bank statement. And I'm a contractor, and I'm taking contracts from different companies. Then what happens is that allows me to be able to flourish in business. Mark said when he first got on here that he started a business because he was able to make money in IT. When you can show a $10,000, $20,000 a month income, it opens up a whole new world for you. I'm a businessman. I'm not a tech person. I'm a hustler. I'm a business guy. That's what I am. I don't even consider myself that. But you'd be a fool if you go sell your time to go. If somebody can give you a skill, like Dan Locke, the developer, talks about having a skill that pays $10,000 a month. Well, that's what we're talking about. Now, whatever that looks like, go ahead and do that. Get the $10,000 a month skill. Now, if you want to go into C# and develop your own games, have at it. I'm not trying to stop you, but I want to make damn sure you got enough money. If a company charging $20,000, can you pay it? Can you just say, all right, in 3 months, I'm going to have the money. I'm going to just go ahead and pay for it cash. And you ain't got to worry about saving. Most black people can't do that. Most. Now, there are some that can. If it is, you probably don't need to be watching this video. But for the average black person that makes under $45,000 and $40,000 for black women, this is something you can probably at least double your income with. What's up, Richard? What's up, Richard? That's one of my students. What's up? Why?
Cool, guys. Again, in the chat room is the link to learn more about Sub-Zero's courses. So again, click on that link, sign up for a consultation, and join the course. To Nigel, go ahead, to Nigel.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's an interesting conversation. He was mentioning something about this in C++, and because I find C++ to be quite an important language for people to learn, because it is one of the base language of most of the technology that you see out there now. And real-time C++ is highly paid, especially in the finance, because they use them for most of these financial calculations and computation that they do in the field. But my question is about some of the key technologies that, from the point of view of the community, that is critical for us to be able to gather. We need to have people that are into these fields, because sooner or later we'll need them. So in terms of machine learning, in terms of quantum computing, and this in aerospace. So what do you think? I'm asking the Sub-Zero now. What do you think about those areas? Do you have any kind of links to enable people to be able to train in these type of areas? Because I believe they are quite critical.
To be honest with you, man, I really don't. And let me answer this, brother Tony Quaid. He says the world is bigger than just what I'm doing. Brother, if I made you offended, I apologize, because I'm getting a little roughness from you. I ain't on here to do that. This ain't about that. I'm here to try to help people. This brother said he's aware of C++ paying big. Fine. C++ came out in the 70s, 60s. So, but if there's still people paying that kind of money, I'm not a exhaustive on tech, and I'm coming on here as an authority that knows everything about tech. What I know is what I've been able to transfer to my students. to help them get jobs. That's it. That's all I'm here to do. Help black people get high-paying jobs. I teach what I teach. I don't know everything. I'm not even going to argue with the brother and say he's wrong about C++. I just know when I was in 1997, they were teaching that 20 some odd years ago. Doesn't mean today that people can't be using it in gaming and in other stuff. He could be, I don't know. I'm not even going to say I know everything. All I'm saying is I just want to make sure that when I just want to make sure that when I say what I'm saying, that I'm coming from there. And now you're saying get out of my feelings. And then see, I can turn into a real a-hole. I'm not going to do that.
Brother, let it go. Let it go.
Yeah, I'm going to let it go.
You got it, Mark. Let it go, man.
I think what you are doing is quite good, because at least you are giving people a way to get themselves into the industry, because these things, sometimes all you need is to get into, get busy and start getting your hands dirty in the industry, and then doors start opening and you start finding opportunities to extend your capabilities within that industry. Definitely, I believe tech is very important. As a matter of fact, it's key. Our people need to start getting in there, because this is one of those areas that people that know what they are doing will say they will go into finance, law, and tech. Anything else is just details. Those are the ones, if you are stuck on an island, these are the people you preserve. Because tech is also into bioengineering, and bioengineering this century is going to shape the way things are going to go. So, and a new space age is around the corner. Most people are not talking about it, because once it starts happening, people, the whole place, it just take over the whole conversation. Just like COVID-19, nobody saw it coming in 2019, but before you know it now, it's all about COVID-19. And
Right.
That is how, in the next 5 to 10 years, you will see the space age coming of age, because there are a lot of people, Elon Musk, quite a lot of people, Branson, working on these technologies. The Chinese, the Indians, they're all fighting all over the place. And by the time you start finding people traveling to Mars and finding colonies on the moon and stuff like that, the conversation will change radically. And I believe that our community has to start, preparing for these things. We don't want to be fighting the battles and the challenges of the past. We have to start thinking into the future, really, preparing ourselves and gathering as much knowledge as we can. And I take your point, because I went to your site and I saw that it has a lot to do with SQL, and it's quite a valuable skill set to have. And personally, the way I look at it is that if you want to do these things, don't rely too much on large institutions to give you chance to do internship and stuff like that. If you can get it, fine. But if you can cultivate your own skill set and start using it to build applications, people will hire you for what you know how to do. They don't care whether you're a certificate, whether you qualified from here or the other place. They will hire you and pay you good money. And you see, all they want to see is demonstrable skill of what you can do. In tech is one of the most democratized environments in terms of being able to work there, because there is so much skill shortage in that area that they don't ask questions. I've had experience whereby they just call you up and say, we don't hire people normally like this, but just call me anyway. So I've seen people that get into workplaces like that because they know this people can do the job. So that is the field we are talking about. And I believe that if our people just get in there and start learning whatever is available, and most of the key ones, like, when you mention C++ and Python, and, you start using them for things like machine learning, those cutting edge areas, you start finding that the doors will start opening, because they are looking for people in those areas. You see what I mean? So I'm not going to be the type of person that say, just because you didn't mention C++ as a top language, that, it means that you don't know what you're doing. Because you are opening doors for people. And once they get in there, they will start seeing their mates earning a lot of money in those fields. And they'll start thinking, maybe I should get in there. I know a friend that graduated from university and started taking, in pounds, 500 pounds a day from doing project planning. He didn't do C++ or any of those. He just did project planning, and he was making a lot of money. Since then, he has never looked back. So that's all I've got to say anyway. I think our people should just get in there and get their hands dirty, and wherever they see the opportunities, they go in those directions. So that is basically the way I look at these things.
Let me say one thing. Tony Quaid, brother, I see you saying all the comments. Bro, just let's talk offline. It ain't nothing personal. I really don't. It ain't that serious, fam. We ain't got to go back and forth. I can't type anything in the comment section. I probably would have answered it. I wasn't able to see your question. So if you ask a question about a resource, schedule a consultation, click the link, schedule a consultation. We can talk offline. It ain't personal. It's really not. It's all business. All I said was I'm not trying to say I know everything and he's wrong. This brother's up here dropping some knowledge. I'm not trying to challenge him like he don't know what he's talking about just because I teach. Hell, that would be stupid. That would be dumb. He might know some stuff I don't know. I might know stuff he don't know, some stuff he doesn't know. But if you want to, schedule a consultation, let's talk. Let's talk like men and see what's up. And if you got an issue and you think, we can help each other, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? I'll be glad to help you with your company. You say you got a company. If I can help you, I will. I'm here to help anybody. That's just not about, I try to be a humble guy. I try not to be. Sometimes on my channel, I might get a little rowdy, but at the end of the day, if the comment about me being an a-hole was offensive, then I apologize about that. I didn't threaten you. I can't do nothing to you. We on the internet, man. So ain't no need me trying to bump my drums. I'm trying to help. And what I'm saying is this: if you're trying to get into the IT industry, and a lot of times you need references, you need people that are you need experience. Those are two things people don't have. Now, I've seen people come through my class, take it for 2 weeks, not 2 weeks, take it, not finish the interview part, and still come out there and get jobs without any experience. Because in a lot of spaces, people are looking for people just that bad. Usually, if you don't have experience, from me having been on the phone talking to there are over thousands of people over the last 3 years, if you don't have any experience, it is hard as hell to get a job for people because you got a lot of black people I talk to that have computer engineering degrees. That I had one brother that had an MBA. I had another brother that engineering degrees, like Anthony. Anthony had an engineering degree and was doing construction. So some people are able to get into certain veins and be successful. But if you don't have anybody to guide you and grab you by the hand and help you, it's hard cold turkey without the connections of knowing the right places, companies, where to go, what to say. And then when you get in these interviews, having the ability to really be able to talk to people and what to say and what not to say and stuff like that, that takes experience. You know what I'm saying? It takes somebody who, like myself, got 12 years experience. You can call me. I had a student call me yesterday. Hey, sub, I got an interview Friday. This is what we're going to go over. We went through the job description together. I told him, when they ask you this is what you need to talk about. You need to say this. You need to say that. That makes all the difference in the world. And most companies aren't going to nurture you like that. That's what I'm trying to provide. But all I know is SQL and business intelligence. That's primarily what I know. I know a few other things I've kind of dabbled with, but that's it. And from there, you're in the driver's seat. That's just how it works. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you, Tony.
Yeah, people should listen to him. I think he's making a lot of good points. When somebody has had experience in the industry, it's important to listen to the guidance that they are providing, because that's one question at the interview that he guided you through might make the difference between whether they employ you or they give you a letter and tell you next time and all the rest of it. So sometimes I wish I had that kind of experience myself where people guided me, but sometimes you just have to make your way in this world. The way I look at it, from my point of view, even if you have a lot of issues in terms of access to funds to learn some of all these things, use the best anything you have. You have to use what you've got, because sometimes it's only a laptop you have. Some people buy cars and spend a lot of money on their cars, but that laptop can make you 10 times the money you spend on it if you use it right. And in the field, what you tend to find in the world today, especially with the lockdown now, a lot of people are sitting at home on their computers. Most of them can sit at home and program. But how many of them can program and at the same time work on hardware? So those type of skills you want to start. If you want to give yourself an advantage, you also want to be able to program and be able to work on hardware too. Because if I work on hardware, now you are doing something that many people won't be able to do too. Because they can program in their bedroom, but can they connect circuits together? Can they program the Raspberry Pi to do certain things and Arduino and IoT and all that stuff? They wouldn't be able to. So you look at the landscape and give yourself an advantage so that if they are sorting through hundreds of people, you will stand out. and whenever they are looking for that skill set, they are going to pick you out of it. You see what I mean? So that's the way you want to approach the industry of today, because a lot of people are into programming, graphics design, virtual assistants, all these things that are being done online now. Many people that used to go to or walk into offices before are no longer doing it. So they have time on their hands and they are competing with everyone out there. You're competing with that Indian guy that if they pay him $10, he's going to make headway with it than if you in the US. So you want to give yourself the advantage there. When you're in the US, you have constant power, you have access to some of these components, and you want to give yourself that edge and say, okay, I can do this. I can actually program this hardware. I can design this stuff and 3D print it so that you can use them for whatever you need to do with them. So those type of things, that's what I found gives you an edge.
Let me say this. Somebody asked a question a second ago, and it just scrolled up. I'm going to scroll up and try to answer it real fast. She said, I hear you talking about being in tech as individuals, but how will Blacks make an impact in tech as a group, as innovators? How will Blacks in tech provide jobs for other Black people? So it starts, the Bible says, despise not humble beginnings. It's going to start small. It's probably going to start with stuff like this, little discussions like this, talking about it, sharing the information. I had a video where I showed my check stub. I showed look, man, 2 weeks, $5,500. I showed it, and I got people to sign up. So it's I think as the knowledge gets out there, more people will start to matriculate into this field. There's a few things culturally that Black people need to change. Just the descendants of slaves. Africans, I find in this space, I run into Africans every day. Africans, people from the Caribbean, I run into them every day. But descendants of slaves, not as much. Is even in Atlanta, I see you see some in Atlanta, but if I leave Atlanta and go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, or Birmingham, or Montgomery, you won't see us. You'll see Indians. Even in places like Selma, Alabama, if there's a factory and they have a database, it's an Indian, Asian, or a white person sitting in front of it. Once we start to matriculating in those spaces and we start getting those jobs and we do what Indians do, Indians have companies overseas that will give them degrees for $400 and $500. They'll have a bachelor's or engineering degree, or they'll have something, and then they'll come over here. They'll have they won't be, they'll jump right in line in front of us, right? They have companies where people answer the phone and tell and say, hey, yeah, I'm a reference for so-and-so. That's a system. That's what I'm trying to build. I know that sounds kind of grimy, but that's what I'm building. I'm building a system. I give you reference. I give you all that. I know people probably know, oh, you nigger rigging, because they said that one time I was on here. But at the end of the day, Black people need to build this. It's like when you fighting against the guerrillas, you use guerrilla tactics. If they doing a certain tactic, you do what you got to do to get in the industry to be able to put people in those spaces. Once they're in those spaces, then we can, flip it on its ear and start looking out for our own. So,
100%. I think that is a very good point, and it's quite interesting that you said that African Americans don't show up a lot. I'm not sure why. Can you elaborate on that?
I'm gonna tell you why. You guys, Africans, you guys outperform every damn body. You guys outperform Asians. You outperform Jews. You outperform everybody. Although they say that Africans have an average IQ of 70, you can take people from the lottery. Just follow American citizens that came to America African citizens that came to America on a lottery, which means they're not in particularly the brightest Africans. They're gonna work. They're gonna put 2 and 3 hours a night in studying. They're gonna be good at math. They're going to be good at science. They're going to have high ACT scores, and thus they will qualify to go to Harvard, Yale. And so when you see all these articles of this person got offered by all the Ivy League schools, her mom's African, probably worked at a gas station. They didn't have a lot of money, but they work hard. It's a work ethic. That's what Africans have when they come to America. That's what Caribbeans have. African Americans, on average, spend about 30 minutes a night doing homework, on average. So what happens is, you damn sure not going to be good at math. And so that hurts you. So nationally, and I can prove, I got documentation if people want to I got videos where I went and looked all this stuff up. I'm not just pulling this out my behind. Nationally, African American descendants of slaves, on average, we just score lower. That's with them include African immigrants, and if you take them out, it's probably even lower than that. They say when we talk about reading, when you graduate high school, and 45% of African Americans can't read at a basic level, and it was 86% can't read at a proficient level. How you gonna go to college? You can't even halfway read. So I mean, I'm not saying we're dumb. We're not dumb by no stretch. What I'm saying is there needs to be a change of us in how we look at this stuff, and we need to be real with ourselves and look at the real school and say, "Hey, man, I'm not working as hard. I'm not this. I'm not that." And I know when you say that, people get emotional, but that's really the truth. When you really dive into the data as to why Africans beat everybody, even the Asians, is because they work hard as hell. And I cannot, half my class is African. I'm just telling the truth. They know. All they got to do is hear this one time. I teach African people from Jamaica. They reach out and shoot, Marcus, his people are from Africa. So that's a culture thing, man. Culture is any non-biological behavior. I know they say black people have a culture, but that is true by us.
So how do we because I'm quite interested in this topic, how do you think this can be changed for the African Americans too, the ones that you say don't have the same kind of ethics and way and opportunities to do what the African immigrants do? So do you think there are ways that things can be changed?
I think so. I think first it starts with stuff like this, man. I ain't trying to be funny. I kind of feel like I'm the Harriet Tubman guy right now. I'm kind of going into I go out and find people and bring them over to the promised land and what happens is, like my son, for example, he's going to be way further along than me. I flunked the first grade, guys. I was not the brightest guy, okay? I didn't have enough days in school and I was behind, and so they flunked me. But the thing is, my son is going to be, he's just turned 5. He's pushing the second grade level already because I went and invested in his education when he was 3, when he was 4. Even in the pandemic, we spent an hour a night doing homework with him, doing certain things. He's already further along than me and his mom. So he's probably not going to have the hangups that I had to have to overcome. He's not going to have that. And I think in time, that next generation will be a lot sharper, it won't be a big deal to see your dad sitting on the computer with a laptop working, speaking in a stand-up. Whereas with me, my dad was a painter, my mom was a beautician. And as time goes on throughout culture, I think it'll happen. It's slow. We need more people because it's not many of us doing it. And some of us are still making choices. And we should shame decisions, I think, a lot of times. Some stuff needs to be shamed. Betting your future on basketball and football or rap is probably not a wise choice. And we need to shame that. I think we should start going in on that and stop telling people that they're going to be the next LeBron James. Not that you can't be, but right. I mean, come on. There was a brother, I forget his name. It was a viral video years ago from some of the 80s. This guy was saying, he did the math. He was like, there are every year we got 600,000 kids graduating high school, black boys, that want to play college. Only out of that, only about 30, 40,000 are going to actually play college basketball. Out of that, only about, what did he say, like 20 of them 25 of them going to get a first round draft pick. Out of that, only about 3 of them are actually going to last past 3 years. So we got, I don't know how many millions of kids fighting for 3 positions in basketball. When you talk about football, it's the same. Giannis, damn All-American, supposed to be in the NFL. Got hurt.
Yeah, that needs to change. Did you hear about the Terrence Howard project? The linchpin project. They call it the linchpin project. Terrence Howard. He's an actor. He's African American actor. Yeah, he commissioned this project, the linchpin project, for a drone design. And this drone design was released, I think, just last November. And someone in the UK solved the problem, but went and released the code. And I was like, why would you release the code? Some other person commissioned the project and you go and release the code of the drone design. You need to see what this drone can do, man. I don't know how he got the idea. He just got the idea from a geometric shape. and he said, if somebody can build a drone with this, this is what the drone can do. And this drone was able to do this stuff that even people in the drone industry couldn't believe how this guy got it to work the way he did. But he released the code online. And I was like, why would you release the code online? Somebody commissioned this project, an African American for that matter, because I felt personal about that. That he commissioned this project, this white guy in the UK solved the problem and released the code for free. So now the benefit that he could have had from that was undercut immediately from that. So if you look out for the linchpin project and you search for it online, you see the demonstration of the guy testing this drone. And man, the way the drone can perform, he can just rotate in the air, fly in any direction, and all the rest of it. He just can move anyhow he wants. In any direction, he can move. And this guy came up with the concept, and it was just rendered almost useless to him. But I guess he can still work on it. The point I was trying to make with that is that our people now begin to understand that they need to go into tech and go into tech properly, and they want to do it and do it well. I think someone once said that if they want to do anything, they want to do it to the best, to the highest level. I think that's the kind of standard we want to start setting. If we want to do something, we do it really, really well, like we do in hip hop, basketball, and the other stuff. We want to start shifting our attention. And some of these rich people, because I'm sure he had the funds. If a black guy came to him and said, I have the solution, he would have given it to him. But he probably didn't have anybody coming to him. So he had to release the project to the world so that a solution can come up on time. But now, if somebody approaches him and says, I have this great idea, or approaches one other millionaire, African-American millionaire or billionaire, there are quite a lot of rich people out there, and say, I have this tech idea. If you do this, this is how much you're going to make, and this is how much you're going to, this is the kind of money we need. They probably will give you a hearing. I believe they need to start doing these things. Like you said, your son and the mentality of the future generation is changing, and you will start seeing more and more of this type of movement. I never saw this one coming, but when I saw what Terrence Howard did, I was really impressed that he came up with the concept. He knew the performance of this vehicle. And when I saw it, that people in the industry couldn't believe a drone can fly like that. That was how good it was.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you don't see black people, white people creating something on a massive scale. You might see a few situations where it's something that a major oil company is going to hinder, so they release it for free or something like that. Like cars that run on water. You can find those plans online. But as far as something that's like that, what you just described, there's no reason why that shouldn't have been patented. He should have got a patent attorney and had that and tried to, do some sort of contracting with, or some sort of, I forget what they call it when they allow people to use their plans. I forget what it's called, but
not lease, but hold on,
License,
yeah.
Yeah, like he could have did that, but there's no way. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's in that. I hate to say this, but that's why you don't see a lot of us inventing stuff like we used to. Go back, 100 years ago, the patent office was full of black. There were black people inventing stuff every other day. It was like, man, what happened? Now you don't see it as much, and I think what happened, we've gotten away. Back then, 100 years ago, we were the skilled craftsmen and artisans of this country.
Yeah, but I was watching a documentary on our black inventors. Like, number one, we weren't allowed to patent everything, and and I think the roadblocks were so many that a lot of people just said forget it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's so much stuff that even ideas. I've had a few flash in the pan ideas of stuff that I thought was a way to roll your windows up if it starts raining without you having to go outside. Different things like that. I've actually had, and my dad told me about that, inventions and stuff, but you don't see that a lot. And I think a lot of creativity is stifled out of, is kind of stumped out of kids. And you want to, when you're raising a child, not that I'm an authority, but when you're raising a child, you want to try to at least facilitate that. And our education system hinders that. It hinders freedom of thought, education. If you get something wrong, if you get something incorrect, you're wrong. So shame. You get a bunch of red X's. So you kind of taught to stay in the lines. Don't go outside the lines and think, okay, what if and how? And this is how. That's what you need. You don't need to be stuck in an environment where someone tells you you have to do it this way. They call it the new math. You do it, just get the answer. How did you get there? And you find your own way. And and that's business. In life, when you walk out in life, the answers aren't going to be, perfect. In life, you really win in business by working in a group. But if I work with a group in school, I'm cheating. If I work with Dinas and say, hey, Dinas, what you get for number 4? That's cheating. You can't do that. Well, guess what? In business, that's how you win.
Right.
Even if it's your competitor, it's called benchmarking. So I just think, I see Africa. We have a future. I think it's some of us are gonna flourish, some of us are gonna fall by the wayside. You just can't control it. Some people are gonna.
I worry that one of the things I worry about when we talked about inventions and things like that is that there is this knack for them to undercut us, and because if Terrence Howard decided to do that in-house now, that opportunity would be gone, and he would have. It may have taken slightly longer, but he may have arrived at the solution and capitalized on it then. But because he released it out, and this guy just went and released it, and when I tried to highlight the point in the chat saying that this guy released something that it doesn't seem right, everybody just seemed like, oh, it's okay, let him just release it. But if that was Elon Musk, it would be different. They would be like, yeah, he's got the right to protect his Tesla intellectual property right and all the right, all the rest. And the way they describe this guy, Terrence Howard, they call him the crazy rapper, like he's a crazy guy. I doesn't know what he was doing, and he just came up with this idea and all the rest. But the idea he came up with, if you check the drone out yourself, you see that it was a brilliant idea. And the guys that were in the drone industry, one of them was like, he was telling the guy that solved the problem, I bow before you, I'm unworthy to stand in front of you, because he was able to solve that problem. Because what he saw with his own eyes. So that is how impressive he was. And yet they were calling him a mad rapper. Like a rapper, I know him as an actor. Yeah, they were calling him a mad rapper and stuff like. You know how this will be when they want to denigrate somebody. And during that conversation, I just felt like, if this was some other person, maybe they would be more sympathetic to his plight, that this guy released a competition and somebody just got the answer and released the information to the public. And it just didn't seem right. That it didn't sit right with me that somebody would do that. And because it feels like you are undercutting the person's idea in the first place. You see what I mean?
Hey, Sub-Zero, what are your thoughts on blockchain?
Man, that's the future. I see blockchain as the way to go. I saw your video on that the other day, man. They got Coinbase. They based out here in Alpharetta somewhere.
Coinbase is based in Georgia?
Yeah, Coinbase is here because I had some issues with some money and I was mad. Something happened. I couldn't get my money.
Hold on, Sub-Zero. Did you pull up to the headquarters?
You can't. They don't got the phone number. I was looking for the phone number. Like, look, man, I had like $3,000 worth of Bitcoin. Something happened, but I got it out of there. But the tech kept sending me emails and they weren't really trying to answer my question. And I was like, man, they got my money. I'm upset. This was when Bitcoin was $20,000. So, but that being said, blockchain is the way to go. One of my concerns with blockchain that has me a little bit on the edge is the quantum computer. Because
exactly,
once someone gets a quantum computer and figures out how to crack these blockchain codes, it's over. Now somebody can just go with a quantum computer and go take everybody's stuff and it's over. Game over for Bitcoin. So that's something that we need to kind of figure out how to protect people's money.
You got to expand on that. I know it might be kind of off topic, but
well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna give you a good movie reference. So remember the movie with the girl? What's the girl? The girl that plays Scarlet. It was the girl from Marvel.
That plays Carl. I know you're talking.
Not Scarlet Witch. The other girl, the Russian. What's her name? Anyway, She had a movie where she got more intelligent and she kept getting smarter and smarter and smarter. Remember?
Lucy.
Lucy, yeah, that was it. So remember that Lucy when she became a computer at the end?
Yep.
I know it's a movie, but that was what that represented was a quantum computer. That little chip that she gave Morgan Freeman, that little flash drive with the USB port, that represented the quantum computer. A computer that has a power to compute millions of times faster than anything we have. And they working on it. And I heard they got it. I don't know if that's true or not, but when they get to that level of computation power, then if somebody wants to figure out a code, it wouldn't take but a couple of minutes.
Yeah, Dinas, the real danger of quantum is, like he said, it's going to take a couple of minutes. It can crack what is now used to secure any internet transactions. It can crack it because they have these encryption protocols that they use to encrypt financial transactions. And if a quantum computer is used, it can figure out the keys. Because now, if you want to figure out the keys, it could take millions or billions of years for the most powerful computer to do that. But the quantum computer can reduce that to minutes. And then imagine a nation putting all their funds in cryptocurrency. You just transfer all the funds to another country. All hell breaks loose. So you see what I mean? So that is the danger.
Yeah, that's what everybody was talking about. That once they get a quantum computer, somebody said it's going to bring about quantum crypto. Well, yeah, but before that, so it's going to have to be a dark time of people getting their money, go in their damn wallet and all their money gone. Litecoin, Bitcoin is just gone. Somebody cracked the code and took it. Then what? They got a quantum computer. They can cover their tracks. There's no way of really. You just shout. They just got your money. That's my concern. I won't talk about it because I actually like to see what's going on with the cryptos, and I think it's really going to be good. I think Acon City he's going to get his own currency. I was talking to my homeboy about that yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I think that's something. So cryptocurrencies is really the future. Even if they crack it, they'll just fix it. Whatever the problem is, they'll find a way to fix it with a quantum computer. And so I do agree. But yeah, for a while, there's probably going to be a big crash once that happens. When, I don't know.
These industries is the kind of industries our people need to begin, our young minds need to be getting into, because it's just like they don't have 5 heads. The people that do these things, they're just like us. They go into computing courses, they learn the fundamentals of computing, and they know how to use things to create a computer. So I believe there are even more innovative computing technologies that can be invented by young, this black guy out there if they put their mind into it. And I just hope our people start taking technology very seriously, because if you look at ancient history, it's replete with technology being the decider of the people that become successful and the ones that aren't successful. So technology is at the heart of most of all these things. So our people should be treating it as a kind of indispensable and essential part of our growing up and our learning processes. Even if your parents are into law and stuff like that, you should still keep one eye in that arena, because like we talked about now, if you are not aware of technology, you'll be thinking cryptocurrency is bulletproof, nothing is going to touch it. But the ones that are aware will be like, okay, I know when to pull out. If I go into cryptocurrency right now, I'll go in temporarily and get out. I will know what I want from it. If I say I'm looking for so and so profit, you get it and you get out. Because if you stay in there too long, you will end up like every other person that ends up in some kind of pyramid scheme. And towards the end, you always find people that get caught in the end. You always have this type of processes, and the trick is to know when to get in and get out.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna go away even once it's cracked. Human nature, when somebody creates a problem, our brains are gonna start moving to a way to it. Like they already talking about Cardano. I'm not a crypto guy, so Cardano, they're saying it's quantum proof. Some of them might be, because there's so many of them. Some of them might not really be able to be used and hit by quantum. And if they're not, then there you go. And that'll be the one that'll take over for Bitcoin. But Bitcoin does have that problem. So, and that's the big one. So there will be a crash if Bitcoin goes. As Bitcoin goes, so does everything else. Even though until it readjusts, recalibrates, then the other coins would actually probably surpass it. But right now, Bitcoin is the granddaddy, and that is an issue that a lot of people talk about. So.
Right.
I think Elon Musk spent 1.6 billion or so on it just a couple of days ago, didn't he? And
Yeah.
the value spiked. I wish I had money in there before that because
I got a few $1,000 in there. I mean, but the thing is,
wow.
I'm gonna just leave it alone. I'm not gonna touch it. I got that. I got a few thousand, about 40,000 Dogecoins, because I have a cryptocurrency online mining with Genesis Mine. It's profitable, but I got 2-year contracts I buy, and so every once in a while I buy them and I want them to pay me out. And you can, once you got the mining power or the hash power, they'll pay you out in different stuff. So I got wallets that I might check once a year and see what's in there, but I'm not really heavy with it. I just check it once because I was waiting on Dogecoin to go to a penny. I was like, that's 30, that would be a good price. It's at like 6 cents. So I was like, man, this is really cool. So, it's some money in it. If you get a currency, you spend $100, you buy you a coin when it's $5. I mean, when it's 5 cents, and then it shoots up to, let's say, $50. I mean, you done killed them.
Right.
So you done turn that into $10,000 or something. So it's a move.
Do you know anything about harvesting cryptocurrencies? They use these graphics cards to harvest them. Do you know anything about that? I'm not so sure how it works.
Some of them still, you can still do that. Some coins can be mined, but Bitcoin has kind of evolved past that. You still can do it, but Bitcoin has kind of evolved. Now, some people are still on YouTube right now, still mining. There's one guy that said, what do you need? You need like a setup to mine 1 Bitcoin in a year. But of course, the code gets difficult. It goes up more difficult, and you need more mining power. So, but some coins are just coming online, and you can hit them real quick, and then they shoot up to $1. And you got 2 million of them. You know what I'm saying? That's how that works. So that's a gold rush right now. There's a lot of people getting rich off that. So, but like I said, I ain't no authority on. I don't know everything, but I do know that crypto stuff, you can make a fortune with it, bro. You really can. I'm not anti-crypto. I'm very pro-crypto, and I think it's gonna change Africa. I think ease of money, being able to I can send Donnie some money in Africa, like in seconds.
Right.
Banks take you a day, sometimes 2 days. I can send you money real quick like that. In a few minutes, you got it. That's gonna change the game. So that's what's going on with even with companies like Zelle and even PayPal kind of changed it. So that's what's going to happen. I think it's moving away from the old forms of banking where people were kind of stuck with having to go to the bank, send a wire. And I had to send wires before. It's really annoying,
Annoying as hell.
Yeah.
So.
So I think this guy Sub-Zero. I've seen you on other talk shows before. I'm not so sure, but you definitely do know your stuff regarding some of various industries and stuff like that. So from my point of view, I think I just like to focus on one thing. I'm not as clever. I like to focus on one area that I'm doing right now, and because I've learned my lesson that you need to focus and get something done. I'm not like Diners that is globe shotting everywhere, making all kinds of impact all over the place. So, but I do like to see our people get involved because for me, that's why I came on. Technology is at the heart of most things, and people should not underestimate the power of this industry. And if our people just get their hand, they decide to get their hand in there, because we are not even in there yet. When we start getting our hands in them, my goodness, the stuff we can be able to move. We can move mountains with that. Literally, actually. You can actually move mountains with these things. So I just hope our people start waking up. And like what you suggested about how the African American community, there's only as much as Africans can do. Africans are just barely 2 million in the US. But the African Americans are 40 million. So they whatever that can be done to awaken them further in this area, I think it's invaluable. It's essential that that needs to happen. And I think your contribution is, if I had the kind of platform that Dinah's had, I would be willing to promote you to the high heavens in the US, because I'm one of those people that really put my faith in the African American community. I believe they have a lot of potential that are not even being tapped yet, even if they are one of the trend centers in the world, but they can do far, far more. They have a lot of potential that have not been tapped yet.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential. I honestly, I mean, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist. I think people are dumbed down. I think people are really taught to the careers we go after. You don't see, even in IT, when you go into tech, what you won't see too much of is Asians working at the damn Best Buy for the damn Geek Squad. You won't. You'll see Americans, African Americans a lot of times, because they can't get any experience. But notice the Indians, the Asians, you're not going to see them doing that. Now, I don't know about other states, but where I'm from. And the reason is they already know I'm going into Salesforce. I'm going to be a Salesforce architect that pays $200 an hour. That's what I'm going into. It's going to take me 8 years to get all the certs and experience that I need. But in 8 years, I'll be north of $400,000 a year. It's only going to cost me for the certifications about $30,000. Training and taking the test. The return on investment is phenomenal. And that's what I offer my students. I also tell you, hey, you take my course, get a job, work, and let it pay, let that pay for your other disciplines. Or if I got one student that started a trucking business, I got a student that sells cars, but he said, man, this is because we got into IT and I went from making 35,000 to 90,000 or 100,000. And now I'm able to save and I'm able to put myself in a good scenario, because whenever I would want to go and do something at a bank, that 20% down always stopped me. Or you don't have the tax returns. You're not making enough, reporting enough income. Well, that's no longer a problem. That's why white people are able to get so much further ahead. If they have a higher income, then they're able to report more. They can borrow more. And if they can borrow more, their business will be successful. They can get better housing, which in turn, after 20 years, they refinance, pull out 200,000 when all you can pull out is 50,000. And you wonder why your business fails. You don't have enough money. You don't have enough capital. We're undercapitalized for a myriad of reasons. There's a more nuanced approach to why Black people are where they are. It's not, I know this is blasphemous, but it's just racism. Yes, some of the things we're doing, some things we're doing ourselves that we can change to change our situation. Those are the things I focus on. And that's what I try to have my students do. When we come to class, we talk about, how to build up your corporation, how to set up your LLC. So when you're on a project and you're getting paid, this is what you need to have. This is what you need to set it, how you need to set it up. I have somebody that helps my students. She came and spoke to 2 classes ago. She came and spoke about procuring government contracts, what you need to do. It's 50 ways, man. The wealthiest Black people in America are the Black people that live around Maryland, DC, Virginia, and have the government contracts. A lot of them folks are tech people. If you watch TJ Millionaire Mentor, he had a brother on there that's worth, I don't know how many, but he had a damn 8,000 square foot house and a bunch of Lamborghinis and Ferraris. Government IT contracting. Lot of money in tech. That's why you see so many people like me, O'Shea, Erica Williams, everybody's having people talk about it, because it's the way to go. And I'm not saying that, hey man, get a job and fall in love with working for somebody else. No. But in order to work, in order to get to where you can borrow, where you can do what you need to do, a lot of times, or even if you just want to save and do it cash, it will help you to be able to have a $10,000 a month skill set. If you're living on $3,000 a month and you're disciplined. So if you're disciplined and you're living on 3,000, but you're making 10, you can change your life very fast. And I'm a witness to that. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I think that that, like I said before, this to give our people an edge. You think that getting into hardware too is important, isn't it? Because I feel like the internet now is full of so many people that want to do programming, And if you want to compete with about 6 billion people around the world, and many of them, especially from the context of the US, come from countries where they can accept lower wages. So if you want to compete with them, you have to do something that they cannot do. And that's what I found here in the West, that's in the UK here, that you have to offer something they cannot, even if they can undercut, but they don't have access to the tools you have. So I think that is anybody that's into tech, that's already into tech, should start thinking in that direction. You tweak it so that you can do something that the others can be able to pull off from wherever they are. They have some hindrances and hiccups along the way.
And let me say one thing too. When after somebody said we're just as intelligent as Indians, this is not a knock against them. To be straight up with you, when you adjust, and Thomas Sowell talks about this, when you give African Americans the exact same upbringing that other white, Asian, Indian people get, we outcompete. I'm talking about descendants of slaves. We actually outperform everybody. So it's just a change. It's a paradigm shift that needs to take place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that kind of paradigm shift that you described will probably happen when we start seeing big, successful African Americans in tech.
But tonight you already have Robert Johnson, and there's another brother. It's just the issue is what we're fed every day, every second is entertainment. That's what we're fed every day, every second. But we have them. I mean, Robert Johnson is the richest black man in America. Is tech, and there's another brother too. I can't think of his name, but we're just football, basketball, act the ball, be a rapper. That's what we're fed all day.
That's very interesting, actually. If that is true, then I don't know. Because I'm not in the US. See, I think if that is true, then our people need to start highlighting them even more, because the young people are watching. If
it's not, but it's just unfortunately, it's the people who control the entertainment. Entertainment, as far as when it comes to us running the football, ducking the basketball,
be careful,
doing a new dance. That's what's profitable.
Be careful.
Like having Robert. Say that again.
I said, be careful. You're gonna get your channel deleted. You can't name off the real people that run entertainment because they.
Well, yeah. I'm like, well, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, but but what I'm saying is, Tunaja, it's not profitable enough. Like, yeah, it's just
that's really sad. I don't know how that. But there's something needs to be done, because we can't just let things lie like that. Because if we are having people that are already into tech, because I wanted to mention Dr. Dre, he's into this Beats headset. Yes, it's tech, but it's not like strategic tech, but it's still tech. And those sort of things, we need to start highlighting people that are doing those sort of good work, like Terrence Howard. People like that needs to be highlighted. We have the BET channel. I don't know how many people watches it anymore.
Watch who?
BET.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem.
They don't highlight them.
That's part of the problem.
I don't knock Bob Johnson. Not Bob Johnson sold his company, but when he sold it, they got rid of Teen Summit.
Oh my!
You
got rid of all the positive programming. They kept
all the positive programming.
Now it's just reality TV. It's reality TV, and it's just not. It's no longer BET. Is no longer. I remember when I was a kid, BET they used to discuss political issues. They would actually talk about when the Million Man March had happened. They had 24-hour coverage of the Million Man March on BET when it happened the first time. But now Rupert Murdoch owns BET. He's right. He's one of the guys. And so because of that, you didn't get any coverage. And so I think the internet's gonna change that. I think also a lot of suffering is coming because we're gonna be ignored. I think Hispanics are gonna leapfrog us. I think more of the attention resources are gonna go to their communities, and as they become more powerful and in charge, they're going to steer towards their people. We're gonna be ignored, and that is when Black people will wake up. I think a lot faster. That's just me.
We can't be ignored on that front. I think there's this fear that African American community fear of the African American, that's the Hispanic community coming in. One example of this is like when the Jews had the Africans coming into the US because they were already in Europe during that period. you move on. Whatever space, if you are in the projects, you move out of the project, let them move into the projects. Because you don't want them to come over the projects and get past you. You make space for them, let them go into the projects while you move on. That's the tactics I will use, because it's not about numbers really, because the Jews, there are not that many, but they still moved on. They didn't, because they were once in the ghetto too. They were once in the ghettos too. They moved on from it. The Irish were once treated like Italians were once treated like that too.
In fact, to Niger, the original the housing projects originally were meant for poor Jews here in America.
You see what I mean? So you have to move on, make space for the Hispanics to move into the bottom layer of the American society.
Nah, we're past that. Like it's not. It's
wow, that is terrible. But there is this guy in the US that owns a network, though. You know him, Dynast. This black guy that was suing them.
But he doesn't. Okay, this is what I don't understand. I know Sub-Zero. What's his name? Brian Allen. But he doesn't produce any black content. Like, what black content does he produce?
Wow, I don't.
Two shows. I mean, he wasn't. He
doesn't produce any black content. I mean, like you said, a few shows. Name them. Like, he doesn't produce any black content.
That's why I don't. That's why, as much as I don't like the image being in the dress, he's about all we got.
You see, I think if we have one at least, we should be going to them and saying, maybe you should be highlighting these people, because our people are being showing twerkers and and all the rest.
It just, I don't know. That's why, it's important that we have platforms like this get supported.
Yeah.
I mean, this right here is not going to be on Tyler Perry. It's not going to be on BET. Like, Sub-Zero is on here helping brothers out get six-figure jobs. They're not going to put that on any major, even black-owned network, period, or so-called black-owned. I don't even know what's a black-owned network these days. I don't think we have any.
I think Kathy Hughes TV won, but I think she's partnered with some people. So
yeah.
So Dynast, you mean if you approach BET now or any of the black channels there, you say, can you air my program during the period where you do your repeats? They will refuse.
Yeah, they don't want that. They want, if I was a rapper talking about how many people I smoked, and that's why there's YouTube. Like, you notice a lot of these black content creators who have content like this, they will make it on mainstream TV.
But let me say this though, I think, and I've seen this myself. YouTube, even in this space, is governed by. They have governors on people's channel. Like, your channel should be way bigger than what it is. I meet people, they don't even know you. I say, man, yeah, search for what's that? Black people, right here in Atlanta. So I think what happens is YouTube, because we're in someone else's space that dominates it. I've seen this firsthand. I see them every day. They unsubscribe 50, 40, 30 people from my channel every other day to keep me governed. I had a viral video that got 700,000 views. All of a sudden, my channel went from like 300 people to 5,000 people. Then it just stopped. And I went and looked at the video. It didn't get one view for 12 months, not one view. Somebody turned it off, right? And then once they turned it off, later they deleted the video for some cockamamie reason. They want to keep your channel at a certain level of exposure. They'll let you get around 100, 200. That's big as you're going to get. But somebody, if you really think about it, certain channels should be millions and millions of subscribers, because a lot of this content that you see in this space is great content. It's positive. I can sit my son or daughter in front of somebody's channel and get them in, they can learn something like it used to be on BET back in like 85, 87 when it first came out. But now it's just, I think that's the thing. You got different channels, most of what I watch is YouTube. I don't even watch TV. If I watch it, it's a specific show, but I don't just watch television anymore. And I think my life is a lot more productive. I find myself sitting right here at this computer doing different things and developing things and working on stuff a lot more often because I'm up here watching YouTube. Meanwhile, I'm at my computer working and being productive, building something. You can't, I just think that's where TV is going to have, entertainment's going to go eventually. I don't see a lot of people really staying in this space of television too long. I think like Real Housewives and Love and Hip Hop and different shows like that are really cancerous to our community.
Well, but what's crazy now, Sub-Zero, even shows like that are dying down because you already know what's going to happen. Weeds being snatched out, fights, argument, and now people
they're gonna throw a drink at each other, right?
Right. And so I think people are now like, okay, we're tired of that. What's next? So it's interesting, man. It's very interesting.
Something has to give, though. Something has to give somewhere. Sorry, let me just finish this point. I think something has to give somewhere because the objective is we need to have changed mindsets, isn't it? So, and we know it's possible to do. We just have to figure out a way to get around this because I don't be like Sub-Zero said. There are some things we are responsible for it. I believe that if the African Americans go in and say, let's figure out a way to get diners on one of these channels, because they have, I watch TV and you have gamers channel and they show people playing games for crying out loud. And that, I'm not sure what that is doing for anybody. If anything, is frying children's brains. But then to educate people on their history and what they need to be doing to empower themselves doesn't get any airtime. I believe if we approach it in a certain way, like, there are channels that play a lot of repeats. He said, just give us airtime. If we need to tip you a little bit, we tip you a little bit. And because Diners is one of the first to start pushing some of this agenda and linking up with the continent and all the rest of it. I believe this guy has met presidents for crying out loud. There's no reason why he cannot be able to approach some of all these people and convince them that, hey, maybe you should consider putting me online here. Just try it and see what happens. You know what I mean? You see what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing. And all I was going to say real quick was people are asking how to get in contact with me. BG at LTV Academy. I put it in the private chat. Dinus, if you can copy and paste it. But man, look, it's gonna take us, man. We're gonna save ourselves, man. You know what I'm saying? Black people it's gonna be done. One person, you listening, you watching, you whatever you're doing, you're the one that's going to help yourself and your people. Not, and I'm a Christian, but I don't believe I'm one of them faith without works is dead people. You know what I'm saying? Go out, get on your grind and build. And that's what it's about. Focusing on, coming from a place of love with our brothers and sisters and trying to be, I try to, you know what I'm saying? I try to. Sometimes I get into it with people, but I try to, you know what I'm saying? When people call me and stuff, or with my students, I'm very respectful and stuff like that. So guys, try to, I think we're going to have to get away from, believing that it's somebody, there's going to be some government program or some elected official with this messianic, consciousness is going to come into the community and start implementing programs and reparations. And no, we get reparations by twisting people's arms financially. That's how we get reparations, and we got to get there first. You know
what? From this discussion, what I'm going to try to do is I'm just going to send email because I know one Nigerian channel in Nigeria that always does some silly repeats at nights. So I will write to them and say, how about consider putting a slot, 30 minutes, 1 hour slot for YouTubers so that you can be, highlighting them on your channel because these people are from overseas discussing basically kind of a diaspora hour, some kind of stuff like that. So to see what they say about it, because that will give me an idea of how these people think. Because I don't get it. I really don't get it. So because there are quite a lot of important discussions going on out there that people on the continent are not aware of. People on the streets in the United States are not fully aware of. It's only us that are here. And if you can get access to those channels, you can reach thousands of people at a time. And the message will spread even faster. Then so I will try that one out and see how that one goes. Whatever I get, I'll probably report it back in one of the future discussions.
Okay. All right. So what we'll do,
sorry, let me just say this one thing. Look, for all of y'all who are interested, I say go for it. At one point in time, I'm a diabetic. At one point in time, I was on what do they call them? Medicare. My insulin and all my medical products were being subsidized by the government.
Right.
Now I pay for mine out of my own pocket every month. People talk about it being expensive, but how was I able to do that? I got a skill, and I was able to come up. I was being led to being mediocre by being subsidized. You cannot have people give you things for free and think you're going to make it. Leave all that free stuff behind. Get you a skill, get you something that people need, and be the provider of it and be good at it. And that's all you need. Trust me, y'all. I wouldn't be here behind sub telling y'all that this works if it didn't work. It's worked tremendously for me. So I would say hit them up and do your thing. Get a skill. And this is a perfect opportunity to get one. So
thanks, brother. Thanks. I appreciate it, man. Mark has really, he's one of my students. Sometimes Mark will even teach the class sometimes. So, I mean, Mark's one of my loyal students, man. Me and him talk offline, met up with him a couple of times. This brother, when I met him, was unemployed. And now he's a six-figure earner, got his own business, doing pretty good. So I thank God I was the vessel he was able to be blessed through. So guys, reach out.
Thank God for you, man. To be honest.
Yeah. Reach out to me, guys. I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to talk to people, man. Book your own consultation. I sit on the phone and talk. I give you a 10-minute slot. We'll sit, we'll chat. We'll talk about where you at, what you want to do, what are your aspirations, dreams. If LTV Academy is a good fit, sign up. I'm gonna tell you the price before you call. $297 a month. That's what it is. 3 months. After the 3 months, you want to give me another dime. You feel like you know enough, fine. If you want to stay and keep coming, me having reviews and doing what we got to do, we can do that. However, but at that point, that's all it costs. So, guys, reach out to me, and thanks for having me, Dennis. I really appreciate it, fam.
No problem, and guys. Link is in the chat room. Click on that link to learn more about the Academy. Again, links in the chat room will also be in the description as well. So we'll go ahead and close out. Nigel, anything else you have to say in closing?
Not much other than to thank you for having me. It's been a while since I've come on the channel anyway. But regarding the topic, I would say our people should start, investigating the fields that they are in. Do your research like everything else and figure out a way, because you have to look at the landscape. Because the reason why I say this is because you don't want to get into the field and feel overwhelmed. You want to get in there and say, okay, what is the niche here? Where am I going to make the best impact and gain the best out of it? So you tailor your focus in that direction. And because the technology industry now, especially the ones that are online, there's 7 billion people on it right now. So, and it's very rewarding, but you want to do your research and know the path you want to walk. And for me, one of the key ones that distinguishes quite a lot of people is very, very straightforward. Look into working on hardwares. Everybody has heard of Raspberry Pis, Arduinos, microcontrollers, flight controllers, things like that. Think about this sort of things and weigh it whether it's something you want to do, because it gives you a slight edge when you're looking for opportunities.
All right, cool. Mark, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, so, pretty much said all I had to say, but just get you a skill, get you something that's valuable in the market. It's not, people will not give you free things. So work hard, get what you can get, and then be marketable, Don't be caught out in the rain when the rain falls. You know what I'm saying? Get you some foundation, get you something that can help you throughout a time like this. I wouldn't be talking if I wasn't working at home right now. Basically, I mean, I do the work, of course, but having time to do whatever it is else that I want to do, So, yeah, that's it for me, y'all. Good luck. I hope to meet some of y'all in class, if not all of y'all. Yeah, we'll talk. Take care.
Right, cool. Sub-Zero, go ahead, brother.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me, Donis, man. I appreciate it, brother. You've been a good friend, bro. I appreciate you, man. You really have. I just want to say, man, thank you, guys. I appreciate the brother Tony Quaid, who's able to work our differences out through text, through talking. Yeah, I like stuff. Sometimes this stuff is lost in communication. So it's been cool. I've enjoyed it. Anybody that wants to come on and talk to me about tech or anything like that, I have a free consultation slot for an hour and a half a day. You guys can click and we can set up a date and time. And if you feel like this is the right fit, fine. If not, I'll point you to another direction. Hey, man, this is how much money I want to make. This is what I want to do. Usually people just want to make money. It ain't even about. But if you got a specific skill that you want, I can point you in the right direction and tell you where to go. If I can, I know some people. I'm very good friends with someone that has almost 20 years of experience as an IT recruiter. And I'll have him on my channel soon. He'll talk about it and tell you what companies are hiring, how much they're paying, what skills you need to go for. So that's it, man. God bless y'all, man.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Like, share, and subscribe. Again, the affiliate link to learn more about Brother Sub-Zero's course is in the chat room. Click on that link, sign up. Also, make sure you go to dynastymir.com. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror, search for Huru. Peace.